on the behalf of Cyclocorp Institution welcome you all for this 2 days workshop on the topic Vitals, the Science of Life. So before we are going to start with the topics or this vital science, I would like to express my gratitude to our director sir, Mr. G.B. Sebastian, who is basically given us or chosen this topic as an utmost essential skills for you all, that you can basically attain a skill that you can practice on your loved ones or your close ones or anyone which is basically needy. It can be the any stranger persons or anyone which is basically truly related to your. So we are basically starting with this vital signs. So these vital signs are basically refers to the cardinal signs or the signs which are utmost crucial for us, or we can say that these are the signs which is indicating that a person is having a particular kind of activities in his vital organs. Now vital organs are basically refers to the organs such as brain, heart, lungs, liver, spleen and kidneys. So if these vital organs are working in an efficient amount or in a proper way, these vital signs will be exhibiting the normal characteristics, or you can find them in within the normal range. And if these vital organs are not functioning properly, these vital organs or these vital signs can be fluctuated in either in a higher way or in a lower way. So that we are going to discuss under these vital signs. So we are starting with the first vital signs.
मैं तो इसको ऑन अच्छा कैसे करूँगा यार?
So these vital signs are basically showing the physiological and psychological working capacity of your body, and these vital signs are basically grouped under the main vital signs, or there are other non-standardized vital signs also, and we can classify them based on the situations or the person's which condition he is exhibiting. Like for conscious patient, there can be the different kind of vital signs as included along with these main vital signs, and for the patients who are basically having in the critical care departments can be included as an other sign as a priority based vital sign. So first vital sign here is pulse. So it is the first vital signs out of all these 4 main signs. So these pulse will be taken by Mrs. Anamika Ragbi ma'am, as you have seen in your brochures or the activity schedules that we have forwarded to you. So first sign will be the pulse, and the second sign will be respiration, which is showing or depicting the capacity of the lungs, whether they are functioning properly or not. The third vital sign will be temperature, which is basically showing the heat tolerance of your body or heat maintenance of your body, and how your body is basically regulating the temperature. And fourth main vital sign is blood pressure, which is basically showing how the blood has been pumped by the heart into the arteries and what forces basically they are exerting on the arteries. And next vital sign, which is basically the fifth vital sign, we call it as a pain. For the conscious patients like you and I, who can basically speak without any stimulus, or if someone is asking us, we are well oriented to the situations. So for that person, we can basically consider pain as a fifth vital sign, and it can be assessed either by using a standardized pain scale. Like you can see there are 2 scales given over there for pain assessment. One is Wong-Baker's pain rating scale, on which you are basically seeing the particular type of faces, and based on the faces or facial expression of the patient, you can find out whether the person is in the mild category of pain or whether he is experiencing the brush categories of pain. So based on this, we can basically give the numbers depending on their facial expressions, or we can say that the non-verbal gestures. The next vital sign is pupillary reflex. It is checked in case of the person who is not able to convey this information, or basically we can call the person who are basically have been considered as unconscious patients, who cannot talk or speak or react to any particular stimuli. So we can check out by the either by the pupillary reflex whether the person is having that life in him, or whether he is able to respond to any particular stimuli. For that we can use Glasgow Coma Scale. So Glasgow Coma Scale is another type of variant which is basically we are checking out to find out whether the person is conscious or whether he is comatose. So these Glasgow Coma Scale is basically having scores between 3 to 15, and 3 score is for the person who is considered as dead, and for the 15 or within 13 to 15 score is considered for the normal patients. If the score is less than 13, we can call him as unconscious patients, or which is basically having altered consciousness, that can be considered under below 13. And if it is between 3 to 7, then we can call it as a comatose patients who is basically in the coma stage. So it is for them which is basically coming in the emergency situations or who are unconscious. The last vital sign is basically considered as oximetry, or this instrument is considered as oximeter, and you all have basically witnessed it in your home also, because due to COVID scenario you are basically having these kind of instruments at your home, and under this you are basically finding out whether your oxygen saturation is there or not. So this pulse oximeter is basically helping you to find out the saturation of oxygen in your blood, or it is basically showing that how arteries or the capillaries which is basically present in your fingertips are containing how much amount of hemoglobin, or that hemoglobin is containing how much amount of oxygen in that. So for example, if we talk about that there are only 6 molecules of oxygen, or either 5 molecules of oxygen in your body, and all these 5 molecules are carrying equal amount of oxygen on your H3 molecules. So we can call it that we are having 100% oxygen saturation, and if out of these 5 only 2 molecules are basically having an exact amount of oxygen on them, then we can call it like 50% or near about 40 to 50% of saturation is there in your blood group. So basically blood is having these RBCs which is basically having hemoglobin molecule, and each hemoglobin molecule can basically carry 4 oxygen molecules with them. So depending on this, these SpO2 meter, or we can call it oximeter, is basically giving you an idea of oxygen saturation in your blood, how much oxygen is there in your arterial blood. So there are 2 components which it is indicating. The first one you will find SpO2, which is basically given in like 98, 99, or you can find 70, 60 in the persons who are having lower amount of oxygen saturation due to any respiratory problems or any other problems, like if a person is suffering from the COVID also. So depending on the severity of that particular disease condition, you can find out about the saturation of oxygen, and below that you are going to find out the heart rate. So the internal module of this oximeter, you can see it like this is the screen where you are finding the readings. The upper reading will be for the saturation of oxygen, and the lower reading is for the heart rate. And under this there is an option where you can basically plug it, and you can place your fingers in between these 2 rods, and these 2 rods are basically having the light source. You can see over there, one is red one and other one is yellow. So these are basically the 2 types of lights which is considered as the red light and infrared lights. So red light is having a wavelength of 650, and the infrared light is having a wavelength of 950. So these lights will be getting in touch with your skin of your fingertips, and then they will be passed into the photodetectors. So photodetectors will be down in that particular oximeter, and the impact of the light and how much light is basically passing through your skin, that will be calculated by these machines. And there is a reference range for the size of finger, like there is a person who is having a thick finger as compared to the other person who is basically having a lower thickness of the fingers. So based on the size of the fingers, there are the reference for that particular person. Based on this, the reference range of saturation of oxygen is depicting on your monitor or on the screen of these oximeters. So this is basically an H3 molecule which is basically seen in the red format, and that blue molecule is basically for the oxygenation. So they are absorbing a different kind of wavelengths of these lights, and the difference between these 2 wavelengths of the light will be your saturation of oxygen in your bloodstream. So clear with the oximetry, how it is working? While checking the pulse only, we are checking for the respiration also. So during the time you are holding the hand of that particular person, you have to check for the expansion of the chest, and then you have to count for every rise and fall. so that the patient will not be aware that we are counting his respiration. If we ask you to basically count your respiration, by knowing that your respiration is being counted, either you will slow down your respiration or either you are going to increase your respiration rate. So in that conditions we are going to receive the false findings. So every day, like for example, if you wanted to check out whether how to rise, how chest is basically expanded and relaxing, so you can take a deep breath and then you can see that your lungs are expanding, and while you are basically exhaling out or while you are breathing out, then at that particular time your chest is basically going back to its normal position. So you can do it by yourself only, and on the basis while we are doing this pulse, we are checking pulse for 1 minute. We will continue to keep our fingers on that particular side, and we will look at the chest of the person, or either here this point we can look at here and we can find out whether the person is breathing or at what rate he is basically breathing. For that 1 minute we can count it together with the pulse. That's why we use pulse and respiration together. We can count it together. So basically these vital signs are a 3-minute procedure, especially for TPR. So temperature, pulse and respiration. How we do it? We will place the thermometer at a particular respective site. For example, if we are using oral route or either we are using axillary route, we can place temperature thermometer at that particular site, and then we can move to the person's hand to find out the pulse rate. And while we are finding out the pulse rate, the patient is conscious that we are just checking his wrist, or we are just identifying anything which is basically we are touching just the wrist of that particular person, and he is not aware that we are also looking at his chest also, and we are finding out the respiration rate also. Clear with the respiration rate? You can take a deep breath and then you can exhale out. You can find out how chest is rising or basically falling down.